Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you've been paying attention to our socials over the last week, you've seen we put out a call. We wanted your answers for which books brought you out of a slump and which books you would recommend for getting people out of a slump.
But most importantly, I had my hair cut.
Look at that new hair hoodis.
I walked into the office and I went, and literally nobody noticed. So, slump busting, Ross.
I've got a few feelings about slump busting. Before we get into the picks, because there are a lot of books here and we've got some more that we don't have.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, there are books we don't have.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. Before you say the reason why I'm in a slump is because, well, let's analyze that. Let's go to that question. Let's just ask a few things first.
Yeah.
Okay, because maybe it isn't what you're reading.
Yeah.
First of all, have you drunk enough water? Second of all, are you maybe feeling feeling a little bit depressed? Because if so, the solution might be SSRIs.
Yeah.
That might bust you out of your slump.
Although I have to say, I went on SSRIs and then went into a major reading slump for a long time.
So
maybe
SSRIs. Yes or no? Am I in a slump because I'm busy right now? Like, am I doing other things that's taking up my reading time?
Yeah.
And that might not be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Do you really just need a holiday with 5 books?
Yeah.
You know, that's busted me out of some slump.
I had a big slump during COVID, weirdly. Cause I always used to read during my commute.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I was locked down and working from home and I didn't have a commute anymore. Mm-hmm. And you'd think, oh, she's working from home, so you must be reading all the time now. No.
Before we get into these books, just some general advice maybe. First of all, ask yourself those questions we just asked. Second of all, maybe you might just need to read a book you've already read.
Yeah.
Probably number one solution, really. A book you really enjoyed.
Yeah, find your favourite.
Yeah. Maybe you need to read outside your genre.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good tip, actually. Yeah. I quite often do that if I'm in a slump.
Yeah.
I'll randomly just go and read, like, some historical fiction or just a silly chick lit or something just to break me out of the slump. Before
you even blame the book, perhaps look at those options.
Yeah. Maybe the problem isn't the books. Maybe the problem is you.
You specifically. Okay, but we got some books here that we think might help. So let's go into them, shall we?
Yeah.
And we asked people online for their advice.
So we put the call out on YouTube, on our community tab. We also put the call out on Instagram, on Ross's hardcover. He
made
put
a
out
prompt. Yeah.
And on Discord. So we kind of scattered our seeds far and wide. The good people of the internet came back to us with a lovely selection of books that have brought them out of slumps.
A smorgasbord.
A smorgasbord. And we are here today to share that smorgasbord with you.
So we're going to break this up by category.
Yeah.
And to start off with, let's start off with like cozy, comedy.
Yeah.
Or short or quaint.
Yeah, books that just kind of make you happy. Like nice, short, quick reads that can just kind of snap you out of it.
And I actually am going to steal the first one.
Yeah, go
Which
for
is,
it.
I do genuinely think that reading a Terry Pratchett book might just change your life if you've never read him before. Mm-hmm. Guards, you'll be laughing within 2 pages, perhaps within 1. There's nothing to give you a better experience than immediately laughing and just finding something very funny. So Guards is a great entry point for Discworld if you've never read any Discworld before. So that could be a place to start. Right, on hardcover, I don't know who added this, but thank you for adding it. We have Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. Mm-hmm. Great little book. Very nice and short, enjoyable. No high stakes. It's just about an orc who wants to make coffee. So,
I mean, who hasn't wanted to just give it all up and go and open a coffee shop? I know I have.
It's a nice change of pace, wonderful characters, good comedy.
Yeah.
Excellent writer. Well done, Travis.
Yeah. So this one is one that I finished recently. It's a really, really lovely one. It's A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. This one came up multiple times, actually. This is a really lovely book, and it's one that I found broke me out of a slump, actually. It's just so charming. It's so short, brief, pressy. It is set in a middle distant future in which humans and robots have parted ways, and the robots have gone to live in the wilderness and have not encountered humanity for hundreds of years, until one day a tea monk basically has a midlife crisis and goes out into the wilderness to find themselves and encounters a robot. It's just a really nice exploration of what is humanity. It's just really lovely. It hit me right in the feels. Read this book, please.
Another hot drink based recommendation here.
Yeah, we love a hot drink based rec.
A name on the back of this one was Martha Wells.
Which is a nice segue into another one that I read and really, really enjoyed, and is another one that's broken me out of a slump actually, is the Murderbot series. This one here is All Systems Red, which is the first of the Murderbot diaries. Overview of Murderbot. This is...
Before you think murder...
This is about a security unit, sort of a semi-robot being who hacks their own governance module and uses their newfound autonomy to watch hundreds of thousands of hours of soap operas. It's as silly as it sounds. It's wonderful. It is also high sci-fi. It's great. It's a high recommendation from me.
Brilliant.
Lovely. Love that book.
We got one more short one as well here.
Yeah.
But we got this weird version. We've got 2 copies of it here. This is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Motar and...
Otherwise known as the Bird Book.
Yeah, and Max Gladstone. And again, another short book here. I have heard people say that it's a bit more complex.
Yeah.
So maybe if those ones...
It's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah. If you fancy something just a little bit kind of more out there, but also short, bite-size... with feels.
Yeah, definite feels. It's 2 agents on opposite sides of the time war are sending each other letters from the battlefield, and they're like leaving notes for each other throughout time across this intergalactic across time war. It's a really cool premise, really weird, as we say. It's a bit of a chewy one. Some people don't get on with it. I actually DNF'd it, I have to say. For others, it's a perfect slump buster, so maybe give it a go. Maybe you'll find that it's exactly what you need.
It's sort of in that kind of like different genre kind of thing, like reading a book that does something that you've never seen done before.
Yeah, it might be something that you need. It might be what you need to shake yourself out of it.
Speaking of which, I want to go into epic books.
Okay.
So also speaking of an epic book.
This is our second category.
An epic book that does something that I've never seen done before and that might just change your life is Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky.
Yeah.
Which is a sci-fi book about a terraforming project gone wrong that creates a species of hyper-intelligent spiders and plots the development of their society over millennia.
Yeah.
Sounds weird, is great.
Not for the... arachnophobic.
I don't know, actually. I think it might make you... I mean, I'm not arachnophobic, so obviously my empathy drive is sorely lacking there. But I would like to say that this book might make you more sympathetic towards spiders, maybe.
More epics.
There is, of course, Mistborn. This book also came up, I think, multiple times. And I have seen... many people say this is the book that got them back into fantasy.
As an adult, back into an adult fantasy.
I can totally see how, in fact, it sort of did that for me a bit as well.
Same.
Yeah. It's just so accessible, good kind of hard magic system that has rules and you can understand the rules, and as you go through the book and these rules are used to solve interesting scenarios, there's a series of great aha moments of, I love, that feels so satisfying.
And I think the reason that people get out of slumps with books like this and with books like Children of Time is that it's so engrossing. You get really sucked in. It's like the world building is so thorough. It's like you're traveling to a whole new world. I think that's very much the case with Mistborn, very much the case with Children of Time, and very much the case with the next one, which I think Ross will...
I would love to talk about Lord of the Rings, of course.
Yeah.
Now, I would say I bounced off it numerous times when I was younger, and so maybe reading Lord of the Rings is not the way to bust your slump, but I tell you what is the way to bust your slump. And I think this counts, because you're basically getting a version of the book, is... to listen to the 1981 BBC radio play, which you can find on Audible. You can find it everywhere. Honestly, it is, especially if you know the story, if you've watched the films and you haven't read the book, even then you'll get something out of it because you'll be able to dip in and out, but you'll be taken on an adventure. I just think it's phenomenal production. It's got Ian Holm in it. But anyway, the book itself, of course, is fantastic. It's an old favourite, and If it's something you read before, then even better, because it will truly bust you out of your slump. Anything to add?
Hard agree. And I have it as I know that we're not here to talk about movies, but I have the movies as a comfort watch. If I'm feeling poorly, it's the first thing that I'll put on.
We've got some other recommendations. So we've gone through epic, we've gone through quaint, cozy, small.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about exciting.
Yes.
Thrilling, fast-paced.
Yes.
And on our query that we sent out on YouTube and Instagram, he's renowned for being someone who can grab hold of you in book format and...
Specifically in book format. Don't sue us.
And not let go. And
it's Andy Weir.
It's Andy Weir. There we go. So we got two here. So we got The Martian, of course, wonderful film featuring Matt Damon as well. So if you've seen the film, then again, gonna bust your slump by reading the book because you'll know what happens. So you'll feel excited when things do happen. Definitely highly on the list, Andy Weir, The Martian. Then there's also Project Hail Mary, which some people say is better than The Martian, or as good at least. And on that basis, I think both of those are great picks for busting slumps.
I heard that Project Hail Mary wasn't as good as The Martian.
You might be thinking of Artemis, which most people say isn't as good as either. Well, except our good friend Sam Harrison, who just finished Artemis and said it was brilliant. So don't take our word for it. I haven't read either of these two.
No, likewise.
But they're spacey, they're sciencey.
And Sam likes them.
Sam likes them. So good stuff. But a book that you have read that's spacey and sciencey.
I literally just finished this on the train home from work today.
It's Leviathan Wakes, the first book of The Expanse.
This, I think we're going to probably do a book club episode on, because Ross is reading this at the moment and I've literally just finished it in the last half hour, is brilliant.
It is fantastic.
And I'm told that the second in the series is even better.
Yeah.
I loved this. There was no point in this story where I was not completely gripped.
That's what you're looking for, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it really got its hooks into me and did not let go. It was superb. I wasn't in a slump when I started it, but I feel like if I were, this would have got me out of it.
You might have also, because you know there's also a TV show of The Expanse. Or did you know?
I didn't know that, no.
Our viewers may know there is a TV show of The Expanse. So perhaps people who have seen the TV show might want to give the books a go if they haven't already. Again, it's sort of engaging with media you've already engaged with before. Yeah. And kind of gives you that little in. But yes, I agree. I'm about that far through it, and I'm also thoroughly enjoying it. So highly recommend that one.
I do find sometimes with books that, as much as I try not to do this, I'm like, how much longer is there until the end, you know? But with Leviathan Wakes, I never had that. At no point did I get bored. At no point did the pace drop. It just was so gripping the whole way through.
One last book in this category, we have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Don't know a lot about this one, except it seems to be some kind of like parallel universe kind of thriller going on. Quite exciting, that kind of concept.
Our friend Senna on our Discord server that we frequent recommended this one very highly, and I trust his judgment.
I do believe there is a film coming out of this one as well, with the guy who looks like Jeremy Renner, who isn't, Joel Edgerton, and the other one, Jennifer Connelly. I would say that Jeremy Renner looks like Joel Edgerton. Okay. Come on now. This is coming from a verified app user right here, the Jeremy Renner app. Laura's got that on her phone. No, I do not. You don't? No, I never downloaded the app. I just listened to like a 20-part podcast series about it. I haven't read Twilight, but I have watched the 3-hour ContraPoints video on Twilight. That's exciting sci-fi that's like thrilling, high-paced. Lastly, we have books that are going to make you feel things, whether those things are existential dread, whether those things are destructive empathy towards a character, or whether those things sort of similar to the thriller thing, but dark and dangerous. This book actually got me out of a slump. It was The Painted Man by Peter Brett. Now, would I recommend it? That's a good question. Nowadays, I don't know if I necessarily would, because there is quite a lot of birdsong in this book, which I don't like in my books. The magic system and the darkness of it, like it starts really dark and really high paced. That got my attention, and so I really enjoyed it. I read the second one, I read part of the third one and lost steam, but it did bust me out of a slump, so I have to include it.
Moving from a problematic fave to a legitimately my favourite book of all time, it's Assassin's Apprentice by our Lord and Saviour Robin Hobb. Don't
let the fact there are like 14 books put you off, because we're just talking about one book here.
Yeah.
If this is your assignment, one book.
Actually, it's not one book. Your homework is the Farseer trilogy.
We're trying to bust slumps, Laura.
I know, but it's so good.
Once you read this, it will have busted your slump and you'll go ahead and read the next two.
This is a masterpiece of character-driven fantasy. I've done a whole video
out there.
Up there.
Click it.
About why I love this book so much. It will hit you directly in the feels repeatedly. It will dance all over your feels until you are weeping.
Is it like a skeleton gif?
Kind
of like going dancing around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's extraordinary and it's so engrossing. The world building, the characters. It's just so engrossing. There are times where I'm homesick for the Six Duchies. Love this book.
That sounds like a good place to end it, but we actually do have one more. So Lindsay, in our YouTube comments, recommended Holly by Stephen King. Mm-hmm. Stephen King, of course, what else is there to say about Stephen King? But this was his second most recent book, because the last one I think was You Like It Darker, but this is like his last kind of thriller single story book that he did in the kind of series with Holly Gibney. From everything that Lindsay was saying, it sounds like an episode of Columbo. So we know who did it, but Holly's trying to find out who did it, which I kind of love.
Yeah.
More books like Columbo, please. Just one more thing.
So Ross has never actually watched an episode of Columbo, but for some reason his YouTube algorithm keeps serving him reels of Columbo, which is really bizarre, and I'm totally here for it, because I used to watch Columbo with my mum as a kid.
Columbo is my Jeremy Renner.
What?
You want to listen to the podcast series about Jeremy Renner? I watch commentary videos about Columbo. Not actually engaging with the media itself, just the peripheral media. Let's just round up this video by going through some comments that we missed about books that we don't have.
Yeah, good idea. Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Not recommended by Andrew for once. Andrew Watson.
Although I feel like that's just an oversight.
It's just an oversight. What are you doing? Sorry. My turn to have the cold.
He caught my cold.
It turns out it's COVID.
Calm as a...
Well, there we go. Laura, we busted people's slumps.
We did. If you got this far, please can you comment? Nice haircut, Laura.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Or, get well soon, Rossi. But if you say get well soon, Rossi, then I'll know that you don't like my haircut. So maybe just say both.
Just say both. Speaking of both things, like and subscribe. Head over to @Hardy'sBooks on Instagram. Go to hardysbooks.co.uk and buy a book. And find us at Lewis on August the 3rd, where we are once again going to be exhibiting at Lewis Book Fair, and you can come around and buy a book. We want to see you. We'd love to see you in person.
Yeah.
Please come and say hi.
Yeah.
We have cat stickers.
Yes, we do.
For anyone who comes and says hi.
Yeah.
So there we go. Look forward to the next one. See you soon. Bye.